Hi, everyone. So happy to see everyone tonight. So this semester, we had the privilege of working with Allagash. It's been really an incredible semester so far. I'm just going to do brief intros of our team, and then we'll get right into it. So Fiona Wilson was our business advisor, and it was really just such a privilege to work with her as always. She was such an asset to our team. And so I just wanted to say thank you, Fiona. My name's Jill. I am the peer mentor of this team. I'm a finance and econ major, and this is my fourth time in the clinic.
My name is Mariana. I am a senior environmental conservation and sustainability and Italian studies dual major, and this is my first time in the clinic.
Leah just got kicked out of the Zoom.
Got kicked off of Zoom, but
she'll hopefully be back soon, so she's great.
Yeah.
And then I'll go. So I'm Julia. I'm also a student consultant. I'm a junior nutrition and eco-gastronomy dual major, and this is my first time in the clinic.
So this semester, we were really lucky to work with Rob and Jeff from Allagash. So Rob's the founder and Jeff is the marketing director. So those are really our direct contacts. And it was just such a pleasure working with both of them. So it's so nice meeting you both. And we really hope that our recommendations are helpful.
So overall this semester, we were able to improve Allagash's beat impact score from 30.6 points to 75.4 points. It is important to note that Allagash was already a certified B Corporation prior to this, but because this year there's a new version of the assessment, the points went down, and so we started to bring them back up. Our main deliverables for Allagash were a written recommendation report and an in-person recommendation presentation, which we actually had the opportunity to present to Rob and Jeff in person yesterday at Allagash.
And to start off with the governance section of the BIA, a lot of the points Allagash had came from the mission lock section, which basically ensures that companies protecting their mission statement and values over time. And so some of the recommendations we left Allagash with, first was an annual community meeting with local farmers and suppliers to go over environmental and social issues. And then along with that, a second recommendation was to start setting some performance targets within that annual meeting and also within Allagash as a business. And finally, we left Allagash with the suggestion to adjust some of their formal disclosure of financial information with their employees, which they already do a great job of disclosing their information, but they do it in terms of percentages. So the BIA suggests if they add in some more specific numbers, then they'd get a few more points.
The environment area Allagash actually already had a lot of points in, which is great. So our main recommendations for them were to develop an environmental purchasing policy, meaning that they would focus on more sustainable purchases for their materials. Our second recommendation was to make greenhouse gas emissions reductions targets. And the third is to collect information about their supply chains, waste, water, and energy outputs, because you can gain points just for collecting those things.
So for the customer section, our main focus was customer satisfaction and customer feedback. So an area where they can gain some points is by setting some targets and goals for customer satisfaction. And they can also create a formal process and put it in place that incorporates customer feedback and testing that goes back into the product design. So we started off with 2 points we started off with no points for the section, but we're able to get 2, and hopefully by implementing the processes, they can get more.
So in the worker section, we worked directly with the head of HR, who's Celine, and she was just so lovely to work with. They're really doing a great job in the section already, but our recommendations were kind of just to improve what they're already doing to meet certain thresholds that the BIA lays out. So specifically increasing some employee benefits and then encouraging ongoing training and professional development opportunities for just a certain threshold of workers, because they already do it, but it's just not a policy, and it's also not necessarily as spread out throughout the company as the BIA kind of requires to get the points.
So next, for the community section, some things we wanted to focus on were implementing a local purchasing policy, as well as a supplier code of conduct, and then just disclosing a list of major suppliers on their website itself. And then lastly, we came up with a plan for Allagash to donate at least 2% of their revenue to nonprofit partners.
An additional kind of suggestion that we made, which is more of a long-term suggestion for Allagash, is to create something that we kind of coined the Allagash Foundation. Obviously, that's just like a work in progress on the name, but a way for Allagash to earn about 20 points would be to be the kind of major funder of a nonprofit. So in that way, they could kind of promote their community goals through philanthropy and also get almost 20 points on the BIA, which is a huge number of points for those of you familiar with the assessment. So one of my main takeaways from this semester after doing the clinic a couple times is just that goals and deliverables kind of change and fluctuate throughout the semester, and that's okay. And it's just really important to kind of identify where you can use your time most efficiently and kind of what deliverables are going to be the most valuable to the client.
My main takeaway was, especially as a pretty new consultant, to use your client's expertise in their field to your advantage. So personally, this was my first time working with a brewery. So I had to really rely on Rob and Jeff's knowledge in their industry so that I could help them more in the environment section.
So something I really appreciated throughout this whole process was that Rob and Jeff both cared more about just continuously improving their company overall, opposed to like actually earning the points. So I just really appreciated that they really care, really do want to make a difference.
And my biggest takeaway was just to learn from your client, advisors, and your peers. I think this is just such a unique experience that we get to be a part of this clinic. So learning as much as you can and getting as much hands-on practice is a super great opportunity.